So it's fair to say there was a lot of hype around the Chelsea-Liverpool game for very different reasons. Two teams in some kind of transition. Chelsea transitioning since what I feels like forever at this point, where I had to look at the playing 11 and be like, okay, this player, this player, this player. I kind of know, I've seen him properly this time around, and all right. So we'll just have Harshad back with us in a few minutes. But for now, in case any of y'all were watching the match, it could have really gone either way, let's be fair. This is one of those matches where you are looking at where both teams will be disappointed that they didn't end up walking away with all 3 points. Quite simply because, well, both teams had so many chances, so many squandered good opportunities, not even half chances. He's back now. Not even half chances squandered, by the way, this time around. So many good chances by both teams, and both of them would be thinking, should have been walking away with 3 points.
Both, but which is why for that very reason, I think it's a fair result to begin with. A fair result. No team would be complaining at this point. Of course, Chelsea would feel had it not been for that Chilwell disallowed goal, went to.
But to be fair, it
was a fair call. It was a fair call. But it was a battle of equals for a team, for both the teams, by the way, who, if you ask me, are in a major transition. Also,
Chelsea more so than Liverpool.
Exactly, Chelsea more so because they're not just looking at a midfield transition, which Liverpool are.
They're looking at an entire
Chelsea
transition.
have gone through an overhaul, truth be told, but Liverpool are looking at a midfield over. They've lost their. They've lost, let's say, the heartbeat of the midfield. They've lost those. There would be those bedrock in that midfield. Somebody like Henderson,
no Fabinho.
These guys who are the fulcrum of the midfield. For them to have shifted to these new guys, that's just one part of the transition for Liverpool. Chelsea, and I agree with Shane over there that they're going through a much bigger transition. You've seen a change in terms of leadership at the top brass, the management, ownership,
and even in the field
as well. There's a new manager in place. But good, I was impressed. Let's say as neutral watching this match, I was impressed to see what I saw from the two teams. Battle of equals and good attacking display. In many ways as well, and Shane, maybe I'd love to hear from you as well. What I did think is, for very obvious reasons, one could figure out why the two teams desperately wanted Caicedo.
Exactly.
The defensive frailty, especially in the midfield.
Very obvious.
Both midfields being very porous on the day, which is why you saw box-to-box stuff as well.
Exactly, because the midfields of both teams just being poured through, and both teams, to be fair, are lacking that. In fact, both have been chasing very different players. In fact, before that Caicedo bid, which almost turned into a successful hijack, Liverpool had constantly been targeting Romeo Lavia of the now relegated Southampton. And to be fair, both teams desperately need that one holding midfielder very badly, because today with Chelsea, you saw, you had Enzo there doing a very good job, but his partner was Conor Gallagher, who again, for all his qualities, is not a holding midfielder.
See, Gallagher is one of those, again, we saw at Palace as well, somebody who likes to make those forward runs.
Exactly.
So even if you give him that defensive role, he'll most likely, not be there. Unless, of course, you've got really a strict manager who gives him strict orders to be there. But there's something called a player instinct as well.
And his player instinct is always to run
always
forward.
To run forward. So Gallagher can't really do that role for Chelsea.
And I think Gallagher, by the way, and it might sound harsh if you're a Chelsea fan, I think he might just be one of those players they'll sell if they get a good enough.
He has been in the talks. He's been
constantly.
Has been in the talks.
Because he's not a good enough number 10. He's actually best suited to playing a 4-3-3 and as a number 8. But the problem is, Pochettino does favor a system with a number 10. He's not a 10. Quite clearly, you saw that, because if, by the way, with your first choice number 10 in Christopher and Nkunku ruled out, if Gallagher had to be that person, they would have gone with him. But who do they go for? Carne Chukwuemeka, whose name you'll still probably struggle pronouncing. But they went for Chukwuemeka. He did a good enough role. Again, even the forward line, by the way, looks relatively new. You had, what's his name? You had Chukwuemeka on one side. You had Raheem Sterling, of course, was there. But you had Nicholas Jackson, who was very, very, lively.
Very lively, came close to scoring as well.
He had a few good chances. But what I really like about him is that he's making those kind of runs, which was solely lacking.
The one, and why I was looking for this particular match, not just because, of course, it was the big ticket match as far as the opening weekend of the Premier League is concerned, but also because how the two teams go into the match. Would they... I for once, my expectation was that this would be, let's say, a drab match, because both teams would be conservative. They're still trying to figure things out. Again, looking at, how the transfer saga has gone by for the two clubs, and let's say the pre-season as well. The entire thing happening around both the clubs, it's unsettling in a way. But on the pitch, what I saw today was good football, box-to-box stuff, attacking display. mention to Mo Salah as well. Did very well.
That pass,
That pass to Luis Diaz was an absolute page. We'll probably
Beautiful.
see that
It was
feature in
messiest.
top
It was
10 in of the season as far as assists go.
Absolutely.
So he
just
looks
threaded the needle between 3 defenders, just left them all for dead. And I was like,
there was vision, there was execution,
precision
to
with the
team.
pass weight.
Absolutely.
Everything there.
And that's why you think that Liverpool, maybe had they gotten Caicedo, if they were able to add him over there and looking at the kind of depth that they have, they've got a Gakpo, they've got a Nunes, they've got Salah over there.
Luis Diaz, who practically feels like a new signing because he was out for half of last year.
Half of last year, but again was impressive. Just when he had joined Liverpool as well, and of course made an instant mark as well after he had joined the club as well. So of course he's a talented guy, and as long as these guys can gel together, Liverpool, if they get that one good midfielder in the deep, and as much
Same
as
can be
I
said
hate
about
saying
Chelsea
it,
also, by the way.
I loved them. As a United fan, was pure delight seeing them struggle last year. But all said and done.
They need one missing
if they
piece.
get that one missing puzzle in place, then Liverpool could really be looking at vaulting themselves or waltzing into the top 4, something that they weren't even looking at
last year.
But
Yeah.
again, you could see shades of improvement last year as well in the fag end of the season.
Yes.
The ship had sailed, but even then
They kind of came back towards the later parts. Yeah. And for that matter, I think, by the way, and I'm saying this as a Chelsea fan, you guys know that I thought a draw would be a very good result for Chelsea, for this Chelsea.
For
team.
this Chelsea,
Because again, very young. If you're looking at who are the players who you recognize as being Chelsea players for the past 2-3 years, you had Reece James in that 11, Ben Chilwell, Thiago Silva.
yeah.
Beyond that, and even Thiago Silva, by the way, was playing in a weird position because I think Disasi was playing as a right
And maybe
back.
the next name I could take is Gallagher, and this is just his second season.
Second season.
Exactly.
The other one would have actually been Sterling. He played more for Chelsea last year than
played more
Gallagher.
for Chelsea.
Beyond that, you look at everyone else, it's all new. There was by the way, no Kepa because he's rumoredly heading off to Real Madrid.
It's more or less a
done deal. He wasn't in the squad, so Robert Sanchez starts in goal. Everyone, you had Disasi, new signing, starting over
Gets
there.
a goal as well.
Gets a goal, the equalizing goal. You had Nick Jackson, new signing again. You had Levy Colwill, who's not a new signing, but again, debut for Chelsea, looked pretty solid. So again, there's so much churn. And I think what all things said and done, what I really wanted to see as a Chelsea fan was a cohesive style of play.
Exactly.
You got that.
You got that. And that was probably the Pochettino effect, which was heartening to see, let's say, even as a neutral. Chelsea, with all the reputation that they come in with.
They've always been a frightening club in recent
Exactly.
seasons.
And of some reason, all these transfers that have happened, as tumultuous as they may look on the outside, Chelsea are a club, by the way, who don't mind such activity. For them, it's usual business, let's say.
Not after the new American owners found that loophole, no? Amortize everything.
But again, Chelsea are always a club, and you've seen that historically as well, especially over the last 2 decades. There's not something like a word like transition can't be attached to Chelsea for too long. Maybe there's
one season
of a transition, and that's just a case study in itself as to how certain clubs not naming those clubs, because my club that I so lovingly support, they've been transitioning for a decade now. That transition comes, you think but with Chelsea, it's a, like I said, it's a case study as to how they operate, and it runs from top to bottom, the players right up till the management as well.
It's interesting you mentioned that, because Pochettino, in one interview he had done prior to the season, he also said this. He said, yes, Chelsea this is very much a transitional time, but this is Chelsea. We have to win. So he knows. He knows transitional as it may be, you need to be showing results and showing improvement.
With Chelsea, the thing with Chelsea is, that the graph can go right here, then plummet as well. Saw it in the Champions League year as well. The way the year that they won the Champions League,
both years.
Following year, group stages,
Horrible.
they're out.
Same with 20. In fact, if you look at 2020-21 was when they last won it. 21-22, after that, you actually did have a slump. Yeah. You didn't really look all that convincing in a lot of competition. So it does tend to happen with them. It can go, it's up, down, never a dull moment. But I think now this new management wants something more stable, which is why they've brought in so many young players early, saying, we want to set up a squad for the next 10 years, potentially.
Everyone's sure. So let's say from a cricketing perspective, let's say, of course, they say mixing
Different
formats
sports.
isn't good, but
mixing sports is all different.
But just a little analogy that can be drawn. Once you've assured players of having an extended run at at a particular institution, as long as they're sure of their wages, their future, it gives them all the more reason to give their 100%. At times all you need is clarity in the head, and who knows, in this new in this new look Chelsea, and this new way that they've managed to find in terms of exploiting a particular loophole in terms of balancing
which
their
actually
books.
forced UEFA to change
the rules.
They said that no matter how long the contract is, you can only amortize 5 years.
5 years, exactly. So having said all of that, and maybe again Chelsea could have been pioneers of this particular brand of transfer sagas, and how you sort of keep players and sell players. But said that it's going to be an interesting season. It's been a good start for Chelsea, I can say.
And I would
for
say a
sure.
good start for Liverpool also, and take nothing away from how they performed. It was very good. They clearly were the better side, obviously, because far more settled core. Maybe 2 or 3 positions.
Remember, there was an effort, I think, from Salah that hit the bar.
Yeah,
as
right
well.
foot.
Right foot, early stages of the match.
That was when it was still 0-0. So you knew this team is the much better team. Of course, Chelsea playing at home, you'd expect that they'd not at least lose. So that's why I said a draw, very fair result. We have a couple of comments to take
let's
before
quickly
Yeah, so you have Anish saying that I think considering Nkunku's injury, draws a good result. Agreed. Sachin Kashyap says McAllister has not clicked today, but Liverpool looks like the better midfield. Yeah, they're far more settled. In fact, not even him. Even Dominic Szoboszlai was kind of drifting in and out. He had some very good moments.
First game for Szoboszlai as well as for McAllister as well.
McAllister, by the way, got booked for dive. Yeah,
I missed that.
Yeah, that was also happening. Anish also says that Enzo and Reece James go to. Oh, Enzo, by the way, I'm like the 105 million they spent on him just seems like money well spent. Reece, of course, I just hope with Reece, the only thing I hope is he stays fit. Rolls Royce of a player when fit, but he plays just far too this thing. Just a couple more comments we'll take. Let's see. Mukesh says the referee is too harsh on Liverpool. Not really. I think the referee was harsh on everyone. It's Anthony Taylor. When has he ever refereed anything properly?
But I think, guys, it's just apologies for not being able to answer all those questions.
Yeah, we are.
Shane and I
actually
have
rushing.
something of a little more importance to take care of at the moment. But love chatting with you all as always. I'm going to be joining you soon. Thanks a lot, and
Bye bye. Stay tuned. Like, share, subscribe.
bye bye.